1. Introduction. My name is Carla. I am 24 years old. I work in a small coffee shop. It is near my apartment. Every day I walk to my job, I see a man in the park. He sits on a bench. He looks sad and lonely. He does not have a home. His clothes are old. They are also dirty, but his eyes are kind. At first, I felt a little afraid. The man just sat there. He did not talk to anyone. He did not ask for money. He just watched the people. One day, I bought an extra sandwich from the coffee shop. When I walked past the bench, I stopped. "Hello," I said softly. The man looked up. He seemed surprised. "Hello," he answered. His voice was quiet and a little rough. "I have an extra sandwich," I said. "Are you hungry?" A small smile came to his face. It was a nice smile. "Yes, thank you," he said. I gave him the sandwich. I also gave him a bottle of water. "Thank you very much," he said again. "You are welcome," I replied. Then I continued my walk. After that first day, I started to give him food often. Sometimes I gave him a coffee. Sometimes it was a piece of fruit or another sandwich. We did not talk a lot. We usually just said hello and thank you. But I began to look for him every day. If I did not see him on the bench, I felt worried. I started to care about him. I learned his name was Jim. He was not old. He was maybe a few years older than me. Even with his old clothes and messy hair, I could see he was a good-looking man. My routine was now to see Jim, talk for a moment, and give him something to eat or drink. 2. A warm meal. It was a very cold evening. The sun was going down, and the air felt like ice. I was walking home from my job at the coffee shop. I saw Jim sitting on his bench in the park. He looked very cold. He was shaking a little because of the cold air. I felt sad when I saw him like that. He looked so uncomfortable and unhappy. I stopped walking. I went closer to his bench. "Hello, Jim," I said softly. He looked up at me. His face was red from the cold. "It is a very cold night, isn't it?" I said. He just nodded his head. His eyes looked tired and cold. I thought for a moment. My apartment was warm. I had made a big pot of soup for dinner. There was more than enough for one person. A warm meal would be good for him. I took a deep breath. "Jim," I said, "would you like to come to my apartment for a warm meal? I made a lot of soup." He looked very surprised. His eyes opened wide. He did not speak for a few seconds. "Really?" he asked quietly. "You would let me come to your home?" I smiled a little. "Yes," I said. "It's just soup, but it is hot and it will make you warm." He slowly stood up from the bench. He looked a little unsure, but also happy. "I would like that very much, Carla," he said. Thank you so much." My apartment was not big, but it was clean and warm. When Jim came inside, he looked around. He seemed a little shy. He did not talk much at first. "You can wash your hands if you like," I told him. I showed him where the small bathroom was. While he was in the bathroom, I put 2 bowls of hot soup on my small kitchen table. I also put out some bread. When he came back, he looked a little cleaner. He gave me a small smile. We sat down at the table. We started to eat the soup. It was quiet for a few minutes. "This soup is very good," Jim said after a while. "It is warm and tastes wonderful." I smiled. "Thank you," I said. "It is my grandmother's recipe." We started to talk more. He told me some things about himself. He said he liked to read books. He seemed smart and he was very polite. He listened carefully when I talked. I felt comfortable sitting there with him. He was a kind person. I felt happy that I had asked him to come in from the cold. We finished the soup and sat talking for a little longer. It felt nice to have someone to talk to in my home. Soon, it was time for Jim to go. I felt a little sad. I did not want him to go back out into the cold night. I looked around my apartment. I had an old blanket I did not use. It was warm. "Here," I said, giving him the blanket. "Take this. It will help keep you warm tonight." He took the blanket. He looked very thankful. "Oh, Carla," he said, "thank you again for everything. The meal, the warmth, the talk, and this blanket. You are very kind." He thanked me many times before he left. I watched him go, feeling a little hopeful. 3, our first kiss. After that first cold evening, Jim started to visit my apartment sometimes for dinner. It did not happen every night, but it happened often. We spent time together. We talked a lot more than before. I learned many things about him. He told me he liked to read books and listen to music. He had interesting stories to tell. He also made me laugh. Being with him felt easy and good. As the weeks passed, I looked forward to the days he would come over. I started to care about him very much. He was always kind and polite. He seemed happy to be there. I thought maybe he cared about me too. Our friendship was becoming something more. One night, Jim was at my apartment. We were listening to some old songs. I was telling him about something funny that happened at the coffee shop that day. He was sitting near me and he was looking at me. His eyes looked soft and warm. I stopped talking for a moment. The music was playing softly and the room was quiet. I felt something strong inside me. I did not think about it. I just moved forward. I leaned closer to him. Then I kissed him. It was a short and gentle kiss on his lips. For a second, Jim did not move. He seemed surprised. Then he kissed me back. His kiss was also gentle, but I felt a strong feeling in it. My heart started to beat very fast. It felt like a drum in my chest. Then I pulled away quickly. I was very surprised by what I had done. My face felt very hot. I felt very embarrassed. "Oh, I am so sorry, Jim," I said quickly. I stood up from my chair. I felt like I needed to hide. I ran to my bedroom door. I opened it and went inside. I closed the door behind me. I stood there for a moment thinking, what had I done? Why did I do that? I felt very confused and a little scared. 4. He loves me. The next day, I felt very nervous. I did not know what to think or what to do. I felt uncertain about everything. I felt a little silly about what happened. I thought about not taking my usual way to work. I did not want to see Jim. I felt embarrassed, but I had to go to work. So I walked to the park. I looked for Jim on his bench. He was not there. I felt a strange feeling. Part of me felt relief because I did not have to see him, but another part felt a little disappointed. I was used to seeing him there. Later that afternoon, my work finished. I walked out of the coffee shop. Jim was waiting for me. He was standing near the door. My heart beat faster when I saw him. He looked serious. "Carla," he said. "Jim," I whispered back. I could not look at his face. I looked at my shoes. "Carla, please look at me," he said. His voice was soft and kind. Slowly, I looked up. I saw his eyes. "You do not need to be sorry about yesterday," he said. "What you did, it was a good thing. It made me feel very happy." I just looked at him. I did not know what to say. "Carla," he said again. His voice was full of feeling now. "You were always so good to me. You were the first person to be truly kind. Your kindness touched my heart. I love you, Carla." He looked a little scared. "I was afraid to tell you this. I have nothing. I live on the street. How can someone like you love someone like me?" My eyes filled with water. Tears started to come. "Oh, Jim," I said softly, I think I love you too." He smiled then. It was the most beautiful smile I had ever seen. It was full of light and happiness. From that day, we were together. We were a couple. Jim started to look for work. He found a small job. He helped a man in a bakery. He worked hard. He also moved into my small apartment. It was not big, but it was big enough for us. We did not have a lot of money, but we had each other. We were very happy together. Life felt good and simple. 5, our wedding. Our life together was simple and very happy. Jim worked hard at the bakery every day, and I worked at the coffee shop. In the evenings, we liked to cook food together in my small apartment. Sometimes Jim would read stories to me, or we would listen to music. He was always kind and thoughtful, and I felt very loved. After some months passed, Jim started to go away sometimes. He would be gone for a few days. When I asked him, he said he had special work to do. He told me it was important work for our future. I worried a little when he was not here, but he always came back. He was always happy to see me, and he always had a good reason for being away. He said this special job was helping us. I trusted him completely because I loved him. Our love grew bigger and stronger every day. One evening, we were at home, and Jim took my hands in his. His eyes were shining brightly. He looked at me and said, "Carla, you make me the happiest man in the world. I want to spend my whole life with you. Will you marry me?" My heart felt like it was going to break with happiness. I smiled and cried at the same time. Yes, Jim, I said immediately. Yes, I will marry you. We decided to have a very small wedding. We did not need many people. We just wanted to be married. We asked 2 of our friends to come and be our witnesses. We went to a little office called a registry office. I wore a simple white dress that I found in a small shop. Jim wore a clean, new suit that he had saved his money to buy. Inside the office, we stood together with our 2 friends. We said our vows, the special words you say when you get married. It was a very important moment. I looked at Jim, my husband now, and I felt so much love. I had never been happier in my whole life. I was Mrs. Carla, married to the kindest and most wonderful man I knew. Our simple life felt perfect. 6. The real story. 1 week after our wedding, Jim and I were walking in the park. We were holding hands. It was a beautiful day. We felt very happy together. Our simple life felt perfect. Suddenly, many people came running towards us. They had big cameras and microphones. Bright lights flashed in my eyes. It was very loud. A man shouted, "Mr. Sterling, Mr. Sterling, is this your new wife?" Another woman pushed a microphone at me. "Who are you, miss? How do you know James Sterling, the billionaire?" Someone else yelled, "How did you manage to marry him?" Billionaire, James Sterling. My mind was spinning. I did not understand anything. I looked at Jim. His face was very pale. He looked completely scared. "What are they talking about, Jim?" I whispered to him. My voice was shaking. "Who is James Sterling?" The reporters kept shouting questions. Jim quickly grabbed my arm. He pulled me away from the crowd. We ran as fast as we could back to our small apartment. Inside, I closed the door and leaned against it. My heart was beating very fast. My hands were shaking. "Jim," I said again, "please tell me what is happening. Those people called you a billionaire. Who are you really?" He walked slowly to a chair and sat down. He looked down at the floor. He looked terrible. "Carla," he started. His voice was very low and sad. "My real name is James Sterling. And yes, they are right. I have a lot of money. I am a billionaire." I just stared at him. I could not speak. It felt like I was in a bad dream. My Jim, the kind man from the park, a billionaire? How could this be true? He still did not look at me. It was a bet," he said quietly. "A very stupid bet with my friends. I had to live like a homeless person for 6 months, and I had to find someone who would fall in love with me while I had nothing. Someone who did not know I had money." He finally lifted his head and looked at me. His eyes were full of pain and sadness. "I was so scared to tell you, Carla. I did not want to lose you after I met you." His words hit me hard, like heavy stones. A bet, our life together, our love, our marriage. Was it all part of a game? A stupid bet? Tears streamed down my face. "A bet," I managed to say. My voice was broken. "So I was just a game for you. A fool you found in the park because you needed someone to fall in love with you for your bet." I felt a terrible pain in my chest. I felt so hurt, so betrayed, and so stupid. You didn't just find someone who fell in love with you when you had nothing, I said, my voice getting stronger with anger. You found someone who was stupid enough to marry you. So you won your bet, James Sterling. Congratulations. I pointed to the door. Now, please go back to your real life, your rich life. I don't want to see you anymore. I turned away from him. I could not look at his face. I wanted him to leave immediately. The simple, happy world I thought I had was gone. Everything felt like a lie. 7. Waiting in the cold. Jim insisted that his feelings for me became real after we met. He told me he truly fell in love with me, Carla. He said the bet was a terrible, stupid thing, but his love was not fake. It was real for him. He said he loved me more than anything in his life, but I was too hurt inside to listen properly. The pain from his big lie was very deep in my heart. I could not believe his words anymore. I felt like a fool. I told him clearly that he had to leave my apartment. "Get out," I said. He looked at me with so much pain. Then he turned and left my home. The next day, I knew I could not stay married to him. I had to end it. I went to see a lawyer in the town. I started the legal process for a divorce. I felt a mix of very strong emotions. There was deep sadness, intense anger, and a terrible feeling of being very foolish. I felt betrayed by the man I married. After that day, Jim tried many times to show he was truly sorry. He sent flowers to my apartment every single day. They were very large and looked very expensive, but I did not want them. They felt like symbols of his money and his lie. I took them outside the building and left them there or threw them away. He sent gifts too. Boxes arrived at my door. I did not open any of them. He wrote many letters too. He pushed them under my door. They were long letters where he wrote how sorry he was, begging me to forgive him. He wrote that he loved me and needed me. I did not read these letters. I put them all away in a drawer. Then, one morning, I looked out of my living room window. I saw Jim. He was sitting outside on the stone steps of my apartment building. He was wearing old, simple clothes again, like the first time I saw him. He looked like the homeless man I first met. He just sat there quietly. He looked up at my window for a long time. He stayed there all day, from the early morning until it became completely dark. He stayed there all night too, even when it was very cold. He stayed there for many days after that. It was more than 1 week. The weather changed and became very cold. The air outside was sharp. He sat there for hours and hours, day and night, without a proper warm coat. I could see him from my window. I saw him shivering often because of the cold wind. Other people living in my building saw him too. They talked about him when they saw me. They looked at me with curiosity. I saw him every time I looked out of my window. My heart felt a little painful when I saw him sitting there in the cold weather. It was very difficult to see him suffer like that. A small part of me felt sorry for him, but the other part, the much stronger part, was still very angry and hurt. He hurt me deeply with his big lie. He made me feel stupid and used. I thought to myself, sitting inside my warm apartment, he is sitting in the cold now, feeling bad. Maybe this is exactly what he deserves for what he did to me. I did not go downstairs to him. I did not open my door to speak to him. I stayed inside my warm apartment. He waited there outside in the cold day after day, and I waited inside, feeling the coldness of my broken heart, waiting for the pain to go away. 8. We start again. One morning I looked outside my window. Jim was not there. He was gone. I felt strange. A small part of me was sad. He had left. But another part felt free. Maybe now I could forget everything. Later that day, my friend Sarah came to my apartment. She looked worried. "Carla," she said, "I have some news about Jim, about James." My heart felt cold. "What is it?" I asked quickly. "He is in the hospital," Sarah said softly. "Someone found him this morning. He was very sick. The doctor said he has pneumonia. It is a bad sickness from being outside in the cold for many days." My anger went away in 1 second. Now I was only afraid. I put on my coat very fast. "Which hospital?" I asked. I ran to the hospital. I found the room number. I went inside. Jim was in the bed. He looked white and did not move much. He looked very weak. He had tubes in his arm. A doctor told me he was very sick. I sat next to his bed. I took his hand. It was cold. "Jim," I whispered, "I am here." His eyes opened slowly. He looked at me. He made a small smile. It was a weak smile. "Carla," he said very quietly. I stayed with him every day. I talked to the doctors and nurses. I helped them a little. Most of the time, I just sat with him. I held his hand. Sometimes I read to him like he used to read to me. Slowly, Jim started to get better. When he was stronger, we talked. We talked about everything. He told me again how sorry he was about the bet. He said his love for me was true. He said he could not live without me. This time, I listened with my heart. I saw the truth in his eyes. I saw his love. And I knew deep inside me that I still loved him too. The bet was a bad thing, but the man I loved, the kind man, was real. When he was well enough to leave the hospital, I looked at him. "Jim," I said, "or James, I forgive you." His eyes had water in them. "Carla, really?" he asked. "Yes," I said. I smiled, and water came to my eyes too. "I love you. Let's stop the divorce. Let's try again, but no more secrets. Never." He pulled me close and held me. It was a strong, warm hug. "No more secrets," he promised. "I love you, Carla, only you." We walked out of the hospital together. We held hands. Our story started with a lie, but our love was not a lie. Now we would build our life with truth. We were rich not just with money, but with love.